What's in your bag?
You know, we've got a lot of different things in our bag in this episode.
There's a lot of baggage in this episode.
No, I think we talk about cool tips on what you can put in your bag to help improve, help be prepared, and make sure that you're helping everybody look good when you have just like an emergency kit, you know?
Yeah, so that's the topic of the day. Then we are going to run through a few TikToks. I thought those were good today as well.
Yeah, they're good. I feel like they help brides and vendors as well.
Right.
They give a good perspective, so it's cool with that.
And we think you'll enjoy Back to the Music. We are talking about our crowd savers, our go-tos, and
tried and true tracks.
That's right. So we hope you guys have some fun with that. But I think we just need to get into this one. Let's do it.
Let's jump in. Let's go.
What do you like better, Christmas or wedding season?
Mr. Gray.
Yes. The answer would be wedding season. Bingo.
Well, you've just inspired me to hire a DJ, so thank you.
Oh, well, good luck finding a DJ who can move and shake like this.
You are now listening to Cutmaster Cast.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, peeps, to another round of the Cutmaster Cast, your favorite wedding industry podcast. My name is Chris Romero.
And my name is Tony Pacheco. What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, you guys? We are DJs out of Albuquerque, New Mexico with Cutmaster Music. And if this is your first time joining us, we want to welcome you. And if you are back, especially after last week's episode, we want to thank you once again for checking us out. On this podcast, we like to dive into 3 areas of discussion, including our weekly events, wedding industry business tips and hacks, and at the end of every episode, we like to take it back to where we started, which is back to the music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, and don't forget, we would appreciate you all sharing this out there with, especially with any wedding vendors, or if you have any couples that you think an episode might pertain to and help them out, definitely share this and pass it along. And you can find us on all socials at Cutmaster Music.
Yeah, I feel like we've done a good job at catering to a lot of different types of listeners who would be interested in just like wedding industry stuff, whether it's a vendor or whether you're a bride planning. We did an episode where we did like tips for vendors and brides all in one episode. You know what I mean? So it's a good podcast to just get an idea of like, get some inspiration, or if you're looking for direction on certain things with DJ, it's a good podcast to listen to.
Yep.
You know, we actually had, I wanted to say, for our episode last week on YouTube and Spotify, over 80 listeners, viewers collectively, and that's pretty cool. So we appreciate you all for tuning in, hanging out with us, and just listening to what we have to say, because, you know, half the time we're just like talking on a mic, but it's cool to see people actually value what we have to say and are listening, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
We just were like, oh, I don't know. We'll just put a pod together, see what happens.
Well, it's good for us. Like, and the whole purpose was of the pod was for us really to like kind of debrief from our events over the week, and then talk about it, and then talk about the topics that come from that and stem from that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that's what we've been doing, which is actually really cool. You know what I mean? It's all just kind of naturally happening. And we thought about it last week. We were talking about it. We're like, dude, we're like in it now. 25 episodes, really running.
That was 26. This is number 27.
Yeah, exactly. And so for us to like really be in motion and have a good sense of like having guests on and topics, and we're really got the wheels turning now. So it's kind of exciting.
Yep, it's fun. We're having fun with it. So we're glad you guys are enjoying it too. And this week's episode is actually going to follow in suit where the topic comes from, actually the event that happened for me this past week, which we can start with. Actually, let's start with your events, Tony.
Oh, yeah. Had plenty crazy events this week. No, I went camping this weekend. I had the weekend off. It was actually really nice. We went up to Jemez, really enjoyed it. It's nice because it's just an hour up.
Right.
So, but it's great to detach, unplug. And so Navajo Lake, we just went. You have service the entire time, so you kind of still are looking at your phone or just being in tune with people, but you have service, so it's a little different. When you're in Jemez, there's no service, and you're looking at the same post for hours on hours. And you said it earlier, you can only look at it so many times before you're over it and done. And you just have to unplug and actually talk to people and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something we're not used to.
We're just
to talk to people.
I know, right? We're getting so in tune. We're getting so in tune with our phones. It's like it's second nature just to pull it out and open an app and look at something. And then when you realize, oh wait, I don't have service, you just put it away and hang out. And so
Yeah.
that was really cool to just be there. We were right by a lake or a river, so we were able to dock our little rafts and hang out there.
I want to go up there just to do a social experiment with my kids.
Yeah.
They would flip out. They wouldn't know what to do.
It's no service. You pass a line, it's done. You're not gonna be. We have Snapchat streaks to send a.
Oh, yeah.
We had to drive into the city, send a snap, drive back. Luckily, it was a 20-minute drive, but
Oh, my goodness.
that actually happened to us last year, where we lost all of our snap streaks of over 100. I know, right? And it was because we lost service. So we were like, "That's not happening this year. We're waking up early. We'll go drive to service, send the snap, and then we'll come back."
You millennials.
I know, right?
Oh, my
So
God. Got to keep your streaks alive. Jeez.
It's nice. It's nice to have a streak. We were talking about it because even if you're not talking to your friends all the time, it's nice to have that connection because you're still wanting to be connected. But it's also a lot of pressure to not lose the streak,
Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, fun. It was a great time to take time for myself, and I think that's very important.
Recharge, right?
Yes, DJs, any events, people doing these stuff. Diplo just did a post about it, talking about how we are the fun givers. We're the people making these events happen, doing all of these amazing events every single weekend. And so it's super important to just take 1-2 weekends out of the year for yourself to recharge and not have to worry about what's going on. It was really nice for me because even that week I was like, I don't have an event this weekend.
Yeah.
I can.
You just
I can-
you
I
get
can
into it.
catch
You can
up.
relax, right?
Yeah, you can really relax. So
Awesome.
it was nice. But what about you? What'd you have?
Yeah, I actually, on Thursday, we had a midweek event, which is pretty rare for us. I had a corporate event.
We're getting more, though. We're
we
getting
are-
more corporate stuff.
We are. We're
every week,
getting.
which is cool.
Yeah, and actually, this event came about from a past DJ of ours, Jeremy
Yep.
Jeremy
It's
Jones.
cool.
Back in, gosh, I mean, it's got to be almost 6-7 years ago, I think, that he was with us. Great guy, great dude, and he's working with this company. They're called Atmosphere Commercial Interiors.
Beautiful building. My goodness.
Great space, and so they had just what do you call it? Refurbished or remodeled.
Remodeled.
I guess remodeled the interior of this space, brand new. So they were having, basically it was kind of like an open house, a mixer for their vendors to come in, and they had food. There was like a snow cone truck. They had wine, drinks, all kinds of stuff, and it was
a DJ.
They had an awesome DJ.
Oh, yeah.
And so they brought us in our photo booth, and basically it was really cool. It's one of those events that I consider like a radio DJ event where you're just the background music. There's not dancing going on, anything like that, and you're just providing a vibe, right?
Yeah, but your presence there elevates the whole look and feel of an event. It's amazing what a DJ just being there. As soon as you walk in, people are like, "Oh, there's a DJ here." You know what I mean? And you don't even have to do anything crazy, but you're there spinning for them. It makes it feel more custom, more catered, and I've always loved when even if you feel like you're just background music, you being there really is a big difference.
I'm looking at this playlist because some people might wonder, like, what do you play at something like that? And it's cool because it's everything, and I get to play a lot of stuff.
There really
that
is no
that
wrong
I-
answers.
that-
Yeah.
that I don't normally play, right? So I'm looking at Luther Vandross, Prince, the Doobie Brothers, Fleetwood Mac, Jackson 5, Toto. So like this, and the reason you're hearing a lot of the older type of music is because I bet you the average age of that group in there was older than me. So probably
Wow.
I would say 45 to 50 years old was your average age demographic. There were some younger ones in there too, but and I mixed in some of that stuff too. So I've got some JT in there, Dua Lipa, Kygo. It was just a big mix of everything. And then I started playing these remixes.
Nice.
And I was playing, I'm trying to look for it here. I was playing a remix, and somebody comes up to me and goes, what was that you were playing? Like, who is that?
Yeah.
And I was, I told them, I was like, it's a mashup of, I'm looking, I can't remember what it was now, but anyways, it was really cool because people were actually like paying attention and listening to it. Right.
Nice.
It was,
That's a good feeling when you're like, they're not supposed to be listening to the music at all, and then they all just like turn around and they're like, okay, you know what I mean?
so actually
I love that.
It was funny. I started playing this mix here. like that. It was fun. It was a fun event. I think we played from 3 to 7 o'clock during the day, leading into the evening. They took some pictures in the photo booth.
Nice.
And I actually gave out a few cards. People came up to me asking for, one of them. She had her son was getting married. He needs to check.
That's how it always
so,
goes,
yeah,
right?
It was cool.
Yeah, that's good. That's why you need cards. Always have cards on hand, people.
That's right. So it was super fun. But this leads us into our topic of the day.
Nice.
Actually, somebody that I knew was there, and he comes up to me and he starts chit-chatting. And the setup, we were actually like on the landing of like a set of stairs. Okay, so we're overlooking
It's
the
like a
ground
staircase.
level.
You go up one, turn, go up another one, but you were on the turn, so it was flat.
Exactly. So we were elevated, and a buddy of mine comes up and walks in and goes, "Hey," he notices us, comes up, we start chit-chatting. I reach out, shake his hand, and then I go to set my hand down, and I don't know what happened, but I perfectly caught one of the metal edges of the DJ case, and my fingers just starts bleeding. And it's not a big cut. Like, it's like a small little paper cut that just won't stop, right?
Yeah, those are the worst ones.
And it made me think, oh my gosh, like, I don't have any Band-Aids on me, you dummy. And I'm one of those people that at an event or actually just anything in life, like when something hits me spur of the moment, I go to, and I need to buy it. And remember, I go to Amazon right then and there.
Yeah.
So here I am
Smart.
at the event, bleeding all over the place. It wasn't that bad. But I know I'll make it sound like I was on my
Painting this crazy
I was on my deathbed, waiting for the ambulance to come.
Oh, those little ones often hurt the most too. Those paper cuts. Oh, they sting.
It just wouldn't stop bleeding. It wasn't like a lot. It just wouldn't stop.
That sucks.
But I'm like, I need a first aid kit. So I go on Amazon and I order a first aid kit. So now I got it. It came in like a little $15 first aid kit, and it's got like a little bit of everything in it,
Band-Aids,
right? Band-Aids,
antibiotic.
Advil, whatever,
Sure,
all that stuff. But the topic of today is what's in your event bag, and we thought this might be helpful for our event industry vendors out there, and we would love to hear what you take with you to events that are kind of like common items or things that you may not even think that we could use that are just really helpful, right? So we wanted to we came up with a list of things here that we're going to talk about for each of us that is in our event bag, or might even be in an emergency bag. I think it's good to have one of those, like a little, not just an emergency safety first aid kit, but
I have
things that you might need.
Yep. And it's all through trial and error, things that have happened and you didn't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like,
dang it.
Yeah. I will never not have that again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So the first one and some of these you guys are going to be like, yeah, well, duh, right? Like, yeah, you should have that. But, and that's going to be some of these, but I think there's going to be a few in here that
it's important to talk about them, because if they don't, maybe there's somebody out there who's like, you know what? That's actually a good idea. And it may sound dumb, but also too, it could be the life-saving advice for that one person, right?
That's right. Like if I had just had a Band-Aid, I wouldn't have died the other day.
If you would have just get Band-Aids on the podcast that you listened to last week.
God, if only I had to listen to this episode last week.
Right.
Right.
Gotta go back.
Okay, so the very first one for me, I think this is a no-brainer for most of us, especially photographers. Batteries.
Yep, all day.
Need to have batteries. So I always carry a few packs. I get them off. Pretty much everything here is on Amazon, you guys. So I get the Amazon, Amazon Basics batteries. They're way cheap. I get both AA and AAA, and always have those in our bag. And actually, I've got them all over the place.
Yeah,
I've got them in my DJ bag. I've got some in our I call them rolly carts.
Yeah,
in my carts.
Cases.
Yeah, cases with the cables and extra stuff in
Definitely.
it. So I've got them all over the place.
Yes. Another good thing that I love with batteries is a battery life reader. So you can actually test the life of your battery before you move into an event. If I am going into I'll test them before every single event. I'll check my mic battery, right? Because they could have been fresh batteries, but I used it all day. Then they're at like 30%. It's still a good AA battery, but I'm not going into a mic with 30%. So I'll use those. I'll put them in I'll put them in my camping bat. You know what I mean? These are still good batteries, but I'm not trusting it for a wedding day.
That's a good idea, because I am probably the most wasteful person ever. If I don't know, I just immediately throw them away. I toss them. I chuck them. I've been there.
Out. I feel like I've thrown away a couple of newer, fresher batteries because
they were probably brand new.
I don't give a damn. I'm putting in fresh ones, and because it gives me more confidence, and especially for like a ceremony, for like the officiant lapel mic.
Yep, microphones.
I'm like, you're on, you're good. Fresh batteries, don't touch it, don't worry about it. I control everything. Then that way they're like, oh, cool. I don't have to do anything, So I always make sure that they have that. Like for our Hindu ceremony, that was an hour long. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
the mic didn't go out.
Right. Totally.
So yeah, a battery test kit is always really nice to see the life of your batteries and see if you want to change them out or not.
Awesome. Number 2 on my list here actually was that like an emergency kit, like a first aid kit.
Yeah.
And I probably should have bought a smaller one now that I was
Just
looking.
put it in your car. That's where mine is.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in the car. It's going to stay in there. I've got like nice little, secret hatch compartment in the back.
There you go.
Yep, it's going in there. That way I've just always got it on me.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, stuff like Advil, because you could get a headache, Band-Aids, just stuff like that, allergy pills.
And you know what? And it might help somebody else out too. Like, think
could
about
save the day.
You might save the day at an event, right? Like,
Be the cool guy with Advil.
I might be able to reattach somebody's finger with my finger reattachment in my new first aid kit.
Get the open surgery going. Don't worry, I've got a kit. Start sewing.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm a limo driver.
That would be pretty funny, honestly. The DJ just comes out and starts sewing up mom's finger.
Yeah, hold on.
That's a story.
Oh my God.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Okay, what you got?
So the next one that I have was a kind of what I liked. It's a little bit down on our list, but what they're called are shirt stays.
Yep.
They're used a lot in the military. Marines use them a lot, and just a lot of people who like to keep their shirt tucked in. Us as DJs, we're kind of once we get all the equipment set up. For the most part, we're not having to move around too much, but there are times where you're reaching up and your shirt can come untucked or something like that.
Right.
And the shirt stays just clip on and keep them tucked in really nice.
They're like shirt bungees.
Exactly. That's exactly what they are. It's elastic shirt bungee that just pulls it back down. So when I reach
Those are
up,
great for you because you're with your energy at events. It's your hands are basically just constantly
exactly.
in the air. So.
And it's funny. At the end of the night, you take them off and you're like, oh my gosh, I can breathe again. But they're nice because they do keep your shirt tucked in. They look really nice. They keep everything looking clean, and it just looks way better when your shirt stays tucked in the whole time. I know a lot of vendors aren't really looking as formal as us because you got to be a little bit more mobile for video and photo, and they do a good job. That's why I like photo and video. They can kind of like blend in but also disappear at the same time,
Right.
So.
You know what? Let's stay on the shirts.
Yeah.
I was exposed to these recently, and I bought some, and I think they work great. And they are, for guys that are wearing collared shirts,
A lot.
You'll know if you wear them a lot. You know what I'm talking about, especially if you're not wearing a tie. So if you go collarless, and the collars of the shirts tend to flap out like over time.
Or they're like curl in too.
Yeah, or they'll curl. They just don't stay straight.
Yeah.
So these are a godsend. They are called Stiff and Stay Plastic Magnetic Collar Stays. And basically
great.
what they are is, the little things that you put inside the collar. They're like, I don't know. They remind me of like little flags.
When you buy a new shirt, they always have them.
Right.
They're like little plastic.
Little plastic collar
Right
stays.
at the end.
But these come with a magnet that you put underneath the shirt, and it keeps it attached to the shirt right there, and keeps them nice and straight. Like, they are a godsend. So this is a funny story about those, though. And some of you out there might relate. If you've already got some of these, at the end of the night, we take off our shirt, and what do?
You take off your shirt at the end of the night?
At the end of the night? Well, not at the
Chris is
event.
going crazy.
No, when you get home.
I'm just
when you get home. Hey.
Right. Okay, so at the end of the
night,
when you're home.
When you get home at the end of the night, take off your shirt
Yeah.
and you just throw it in the hamper or on the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you forget that you've left your collar stays in there,
no,
and
yeah.
it goes into the wash. So I did this, and I couldn't find them.
Mm-hmm.
So this was cool because they came out. They came out of the shirt. They were attached to the side of my washer.
They're magnetic.
magnetic. Like they.
Like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So
That's hilarious.
But I know I've washed a bunch of them before.
Yeah.
like
Well, they're
the plastic ones, and then they're like kind of
they're done.
They get lost.
Yeah, exactly. So they're really nice. You put me onto them like 2 weeks ago, and I put them in my Amazon cart and got them.
Yeah.
So they're really nice. I wear a tie, but they still look really clean with the tie, and they actually help it sit on my tie better. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Stiff and Stay plastic magnetic collar stays.
Grab those.
Grab them. Okay, so another one here. I always keep an extra power bank with me.
Nice.
Just I don't know. I guess you
for
never
like
know.
charging your phone
Yep.
or
It could charge anything.
Yeah.
So for me, I've used it a few times for our iPads.
Smart.
Because
Yeah.
I use an iPad at the event for like my itinerary, and then I use another iPad for actually controlling our lights.
Well, I was gonna say for the lighting too. If your
Right.
tablet's going out of battery, it'd be nice to.
Yep. But once again, you might be able to save the day too with that if somebody needs an extra plug-in or something like that.
My phone.
Right.
My iPhone cord.
And on that
annoying.
on that tip,
It's fine. Though.
have extra cables and cords. So we always do that as
True.
DJs. I've got cords for iPhones. I've got USB-C cables. Whatever all those older ones are too.
Well, even when you have like video, I've had I've one big thing that I learned from a videographer back in the day. I asked him, "What's your biggest pet peeve with DJs? How can I improve?" And he says, "I hate it when DJs don't know their gear or don't know how to set up a simple sound line or something like that."
Right.
And so I had a video guy who came up to me and I was like, "Do you need a line? You want me to run you a line?" And he was like, "We don't normally do that." And I was like, "Oh, easy. RCA to 1/8 out." He's like, "Oh, I've never used this before." I was like, "Oh, dude, you'll get a clean line for toasts." And he was so excited, right? So for us to have those cables and be able to understand our equipment, we can help them deliver a better product, and just having better expertise on those kind of cables, or even power cables.
I was just going to say, let's stay there. Power cables.
Yeah.
I keep an extra power cable and charger for my laptop.
Oh yeah.
At all
I have
times.
two chargers. I have two. I have 3 laptops now.
Yeah.
And
they've got different power
of course,
cable ends.
they all do.
They're all different years of MacBooks.
Yeah.
So.
But we had a live jazz band perform at a cocktail hour, and he didn't have a power cord for his speaker. You happen to have a power cord like some little different than an extension? I was like this. And he's like, "Oh yes, exactly." And we've got plenty. So yeah, stuff like that always save the day. So it's always good to bring extra. And of course, cables can fail. Cables can be faulty. You can have an XLR that's worked tried and true your entire life. And you plug it in, and you get nasty ring back or feedback or something. Thank you.
Right.
And so you're, no problem. Swap it out. I got 3 more. So it's good to have extra cables, power cables, and extension.
Right. Here's one that I think some haven't thought about before, and I hadn't thought about it either until I was doing a ceremony outside, and it was really hot out there, especially with our laptops. They don't like heat. So I carry now with me, just in the trailer, an umbrella. And this one in particular, it's called the Sportbrella. It's on Amazon, and it's kind of long.
Amazon is sponsoring this episode.
Yeah,
if you guys didn't realize.
Today's episode sponsored by Amazon.
Get all your items on Amazon.
Right.
No,
So we need an affiliate link.
right, for real.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but the umbrella.
Yeah,
That's
so-
actually really smart.
So the umbrella, and this one in particular, I like this Sportbrella because it has a clamp. And so you clamp it onto the side of your
I've seen
DJ
golfers
booth.
with that.
Yeah. So you
Same
clamp it
idea.
onto your DJ booth. It's the same thing, and it covers. So I've actually used it twice. Once for the ceremony setup out there, and then I've used it actually for our DJ booth when we were underneath the pavilion at Hotel Albuquerque, and it started raining.
Oh yeah,
And even though it was covered, it was dripping down.
still gets through.
I busted out the umbrella, clamped it on real quick. I was totally
Nice.
everything was good.
Heck yeah. Is it a big umbrella?
It's pretty good size. Like, it's not huge, but it's kind of like long.
Enough to. Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah. So, and actually, we should put this up on. Maybe we'll put it up
We'll
on
throw
the
up an
screen
image
here.
Okay, of what it
So
looks like.
It's called the the Sportbrella. So
Nice.
I'm showing Tony
Okay,
here.
I see. Oh,
See
look
how
at
it's
that.
kind of like
okay, yeah.
like
We'll throw up a couple images, but it's different. It looks a little different, but that's smart.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's small. Like, I mean, it's only about that big and takes
Yeah.
up that much size. Like, it's nice and compact.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about it. So,
Listeners, if you're curious, just look up Sportbrella on Amazon. You'll find all the images.
yep, and there's all kinds of colors and stuff with it.
Yeah.
57,230 4-star, 5-star reviews.
That's hilarious.
I know. So yeah,
Nice.
that's one I think a lot of people don't
That's
necessarily
slept
think about.
on, dude. I've never thought of that ever. I mean, but you're baking in the sun. Oh, that's so nice, especially for the laptop.
For that one,
I'll bake in the sun, but I get worried with the computer getting too hot always.
yep, and it's not terribly expensive. That particular one, $30.
Okay,
Actually,
but like
Look-
you said, it
looking at a
clamps
different
onto
one.
your stuff.
yeah,
too.
$30, $27.58. Yeah, clamps on. It's it's great. So I love it.
Nice.
What you got?
Okay, so the next one I have is like a USB hub and adapters to allow you to kind of spread out your USB kind of like if you only have 2 or 3 ports, it's nice to have 5 or 6 ports for to have different options to plug things in, or also to just having like just different outlets for your just having an adapter for all those different options: HDMI, USB,
Yep.
USB-C. There's all these different cables nowadays, and it's nice to have one centralized hub for you to plug it all into and just kind of manage it that way versus like, oh, is this working? Is this working?
Right.
And a lot of laptops now don't even have those HDMI attachments or different ones.
I mean, ours, we have USB-C hubs. It does have an HDMI, but I found it actually easier sometimes to have a USB hub, and I use the HDMI out of that.
Yeah.
Or
well, that's what I was saying. It's all centralized
Right.
there versus like, and then cable management, and it's just easier that way. So having a USB hub is really useful for DJs, especially because you can have your DJ controller, your laptop, your lighting software, your MIDI controller. All of those things add up, and when you only have 2 or 3 outlets, it's nice to have 5 or 6.
So here's another one I think a lot of us maybe haven't thought about, or I'm seeing more of it used more recently. And actually, Ryan Smith,
Smith,
the
yeah.
cello player,
Yeah.
had one for his event.
Okay.
And this is one of the portable power supplies or power stations, like a Jackery
Yep.
or a Blue Eddy. He had a Blue Eddy. And
Blue Eddy, huh?
Yes, Blue Eddies are really good, and I think they use a different, the more current
Are they
form of battery.
Is it a premium one or is it a cheaper one than Jack? Like, what's the
No,
premium one?
So Jackery is what we hear a lot of.
Right, that's the
It's-
name I always hear. My dad has like a Duracell one, and it works great.
Yep. And there's a lot of different brands. I think Jackery and Blue Eddy are the ones that I see the most commonly used.
Yeah.
The Blue Eddy, I know that technology in the battery, I have been, at least for things that I've read, has been better and it's more up-to-date technology
Sure.
than the Jackeries. But I think the brand new Jackeries have caught up to those, but still, and they're pricey. These are pricey. You can,
Yeah.
it depends on how big of a battery that you buy and how much power you need. But this is something I have not bought yet, and it is on the list. It's happening this year.
Yeah.
And what it allows you to do is just be wireless, right? Or really,
It's great for off-site ceremonies
it's just, you can power
or
up.
backup
You
power.
can power up anything, anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we tend to need a lot of times,
Yeah.
especially to power up a speaker and a mixing board. And there's just like not a power outlet anywhere close by.
Old Town Farm, right? Like, for example, you're out there in the middle of the green wood. You got to run a 100-foot extension just to get to the house.
Right.
Now, your power's right
That's
by you.
it. It's right there.
So-
And so Ryan was using one
So smart for
at our
his
event
setup.
a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
over at Casa Rodena.
Yep.
And we were talking about it, and he said he loves it. So
Bet.
I'm definitely getting one.
want one.
He had a Blue Eddy. Looks sweet. Looks cool.
It's great for camping.
Great. I was just gonna say, great for camping. Yeah, and it just gives you power and access to power anywhere. I hear they're great. So
Nice. That's a good one.
yeah. What you got next?
The next one I have is, let's keep it on the outdoor vibes.
Okay.
Is a portable fan for outdoor events. This
Yep.
is big for, like, for me, I do a Sunday Fun Day, and it gets hot in the summertime. And so to have just kind of some fan just giving you some type of air, some type of something, it really can make a difference. Not only on you, but also for your stuff too.
Your
So
gear.
if
That's why I bought mine
you just
initially, was
put
for the
fan on
gear.
The gear, yeah.
Right.
hmm
And the fans work great when we are using our snow machine, and it blows the snow out further over,
Oh, that-
and it keeps it in the air longer.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh. That's a good
multi-use.
one. Yeah, right. Multi-use for sure.
Actually, the fan that I have too has plugs, outlets in it. So
nice.
you could plug. Yeah, you could use it as an extender for power.
No way.
Yep,
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's a good one.
Okay, the next one I have, this is another one that I didn't realize how much I would use these, but I love them, and it's just a little pack of the Windex wipes.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought it initially for the photo booth
Mm-hmm.
because our booth is, you touch it. So it
Yeah.
has a screen that you touch, and of course it gets fingerprints all over it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great for that. But what I use it mostly for is wiping down my gear. So I found that just having this pack in there is great for just cleaning stuff around my DJ booth.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how dirty your gear gets after using it for a night. It doesn't feel like it during the time or at the time, but when you come back to the next event and you look at your stuff and it's all dried and just your sweat and dirt is caked on your DJ decks and on the table and stuff, it just looks nasty. And I don't know. I'm one of those people.
It's easier to keep it clean if you maintain it every time.
Totally. And I like for my stuff to be clean. I don't like starting off the night on like nasty.
Have you
gear.
seen? You might have been the one to tell me about it, but a paintbrush.
Oh yeah,
that you use a paintbrush to really get into the nooks and crannies, and that's a good way to get the dust out.
Especially if you've been outdoor.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Dirt everywhere.
Everywhere.
Hate it.
Hate outdoor events.
They're okay, but there's just a lot more challenges, man. The sun, the dirt, it's fine.
Yeah. No thanks. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here?
We've got extra microphones. I like extra microphones.
I always keep an extra mic, so that's for DJs. It'd be weird if you were a florist and keeping microphones with you, but
I think for video, always what I love is I will always have an audio line for them, right? But a lot of videos will have their own fail-safe for recording stuff too.
Right.
And they'll have different systems or they'll do different things to
always have backups.
Yes. Always have a backup, whatever that may look like. Us, we always have a backup laptop if something takes a crap on us, right?
Yeah, I even for DJs out there, if you're listening to this, a backup set of decks, and I'm not saying go buy another Rev 7. I mean that thing's $2,000,
right?
But I've got just a small portable Newmark DJ to go. It's actually the DJ to go 2, and it's like I think $90 or maybe it's less than $100, and I actually use it for my ceremonies because it's so small. It allows me access to Serato and being able to actually mix and blend.
Mm-hmm.
And in the event that, I don't know, for whatever reason, my gear went down, my decks went down, somebody spills a drink on it and fries my board, I could just bust this out really quick and I could still legitimately DJ
still
on
make it happen.
I can make it happen, and it's great to practice on. If you're just sitting around at the airport and you're want to play around with your music.
Yeah, because it's small.
It's small.
Very similar to like a handheld.
It's
game.
USB powered.
Yeah.
It's a great little set of decks. I highly recommend it. It's the Newmark DJ to go.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah. Something else. This is something I have not learned yet because I haven't done it, and I don't know why. I probably need to do it now that I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna go to Amazon, order me some tiles. Put tiles in your bag. So the little tiles that are like GPS tags.
Okay. Yes. Apple tags.
And Apple tags. Yes.
I like tile, but I'm an Apple tag man. I was on tiles forever. And the one thing that is good about Apple tag is that they register with iPhone users. So how tile works is if you have a tile app, it connects to everybody who has the tile around them.
Oh, right.
And so everybody has a lot more people have iPhones than tiles. And so I left my keys in an Uber. And they were like, "It looks like you left an item." My phone was notified immediately and was like, "It looks like you left an item behind. Are you aware of that?" And I was like, "Oh, I left my keys in my Uber." And so I was able to get it really fast. But I like tile. Let me show you this.
Yeah. Is there anything else like Apple tags, tiles?
I love this one. So tile's great, but honestly, if you're looking for a tag, I would go Apple tag. But what I like is this is the tile card. This has worked. I've bought in 5 tiles in the time that this won. But it's great for your wallet. You just put it in there.
It looks like a credit card.
And exactly, it just sits in your wallet. It's a great credit card, perfect. But for my keys, they're over there. I have an Apple tag on it because that is way better. It's going to be a little pricier. It's about $30 a tag.
Right.
But tried and true for sure. And I agree with you. Mark your things, tag your things, because things like to walk away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when you can be like, hey, my Apple tag's in your bag over there. That might be my thing.
Who took my Windex wipes?
Yeah. Where's my first aid kit? That's funny.
I'm gonna put one on. I need to put one on Evan.
For real.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well, you can get him.
tag him.
GPS tag him. Got him. It's just a little prick, Evan. Don't worry. We're just tagging.
It's only gonna hurt for a second.
Right. Now, that's a whole nother thing, right? Elon Musk wanting to put chips in brains. Have you seen that?
Man, yeah.
The Neuralink or whatever?
We won't need speakers anymore. You'll be able to just DJ straight into your brain.
Bluetooth into the brain. Everybody connect your brain to our Bluetooth channel.
I need everybody to turn your brain to channel 55.
We're on channel 55 here if you guys would like to enjoy the music. That would be crazy. That would be a time to be alive. I mean, I don't even know if I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of electronics being installed in the body.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's a little.
But bring it back to what. Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
All right. So I don't know. Do you have anything else that you want to add? I think I'm pretty good there with the things that are in my bag that I thought people might find useful.
Snacks.
Snacky poofs.
Wedding days are long
Yes.
days, especially for.
What's your favorite snack?
I love a granola bar.
Mm-hmm.
Fruit roll-ups are always a good time.
Teddy
Grahams.
Grahams.
Oreos. But for me, I like to keep it light. I like to eat I'll do a banana and 2 energy drinks.
I'm terrible when it comes to that stuff. My problem is I can go forever without eating.
Mm-hmm. You know what I've actually learned is to bring an empty Tupperware to my events because I typically won't eat.
So you can take home your filet mignon.
Well,
Los Poblanos?
for food reasons, for health reasons, they won't give you a to-go. A lot of venues won't give you a to-go because it's temperature, and if you get sick, you could sue them, right?
Right.
So I understand that, but I'm still going to bring a Tupperware, and I'm going to take it later, and I'm going to eat it. But I'm not going to sue you. But
Tony's rocking in with his. I
have a lunchbox, so you don't see it.
You got a whole separate bag just for your take home.
It's got an empty Tupperware and it's got Celsius, maybe a snack, a granola bar, or like some Cheez-Its or something, but just something light because always I'm in go mode. I'm locked in and I'm like, yeah, I'll take a bite.
You're just stealing wedding cake, aren't you? I know that's what I'd be taking.
Right. But then at the end of it, I'll just throw it all in there. When I get home, put it in the microwave, eat it, and it's great.
All right, there you go. There's a wedding hack for you.
Tupperware. Well, we're often the last ones to leave. I know,
Right.
I always feel bad when
We get left a lot of stuff. I took home flowers to my wife.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, at the end of it was out at Casa Rodena. They were like, "Hey, do you want to take home any flowers?" I was like, "Our anniversary's tomorrow." Yes.
There you go.
Boom.
Yeah, baby.
It's perfect. Nice.
Yep.
You know, I had another one, but I can't think of it. It left my mind.
All right. Well, this was good. It's good for us to
Double check your stuff. Make sure your bags, and go through them weekly. Don't just trust that it's there. It's good. Like when you have your event, pre-package everything for that event. Like, okay, I already know that all of this is in there. Go through it. Yep, it's there. It's there. It's there. Cool. And then that way, when you show up wedding day, you've double-checked everything. You're good to go. You double-checked your battery life, stuff like that.
Yep. All right. I think we're good. It's time.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
You know it.
You love it.
It's coming.
You got it. It's time. The grab bag.
We're getting better. Getting better.
I got nervous. I was like, oh. That was good.
You guys need to watch that video. Tony was looking at me like,
It's like,
I'm not going to mess up. I'm not going to mess up. Say it. Do it. Okay, so we're back to the grab bag this week, and this is where we scour the TikToks of the world and find some cool wedding industry things that are happening and that people are talking about, and then we're going to discuss them. So I've got the first one here. This is from Naomi Hill Planning.
Okay.
And let's see what she's got for us. And it's not playing. That's weird. I hit the play button on here. Let me do a refresh.
You must ask this one question to every single vendor before you book them for your wedding day. Hi there, I'm Claire, your wedding planning bestie, here to give you all the best tips and tricks on how to plan your wedding day stress-free and budget-friendly. Save this video for later because I really don't want you to forget this one question that is so important to ask your vendors. Before you book anyone for your wedding day, ask what their cancellation policy is.
Ooh.
This goes both ways. Ask what the cancellation policy is if you choose to cancel or if they cannot perform their services on your wedding day. I have seen so many times where the cancellation policy is you don't get a refund at all, or they don't help you find replacement, or there simply is no cancellation policy. If a vendor doesn't have a cancellation policy, I suggest you make one before you ever sign a contract with them. It's best to know exactly what the policy is before you book the vendor and sign on the dotted line.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So I think that's a good question to ask. You know, the cancellation policy, just to know, especially in a post-COVID world, a lot of them have changed.
Yeah.
Including ours.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right. A lot of them will include a no refund policy. Ours is that way. If you with our retainer fee, it's non-refundable. It says it plain and clear. And
we make it very clear in our sales meetings and straightforward. That way, they're not caught by surprise.
It's a point of emphasis for us. You know, we are showing up. You know, and that's.
We talk
and,
about
and it's for your protection as well, right?
Exactly.
So that you have that in writing. But everybody's cancellation policy is a little bit different. I know before, I mean, I've seen cancellation policies where you get a partial refund, or if you cancel within a certain amount of time, you get a full refund.
Sure. I mean, for us, we give them the ability to move the date. You know, so we are a little flexible in that. Like, we allow them to push it forward.
And that's really what it comes down to
not
us.
really canceling.
Right. And so it's good to know and have it in writing what happens in the event of, you know, a couple decides not to get married. It's happened with us.
And, you know, this is for vendors, too. Make sure you're just being clear on what that is. Even if they don't ask about it, let them know, because they could come across as you trying to take advantage of them or something silly. This is your policy. It's clear as day in the contract. But if they don't know, like, for us, it's as simple as just letting them know it's a non-refundable retainer fee.
And I would expect it. This is for couples mainly out there. If you are hiring professionals, especially that do this as their way of making a living, expect their policies to be non-refundable.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. They are putting a premium on that date for you. There's a reason that they are priced where they are at. And that date is valuable. And really for us, that's what it comes down to. When you put down a retainer fee, you are retaining us for the date. And then the actual performance of that is the back half of the payment, right? So we make that pretty clear. And if you bug out on the date, that's your choice, and you don't expect to get that.
Well, it hurts us too, because then we can't book that date out.
Right.
If you cancel it out 2 weeks, we say 8 to 10 months to book for us, and we're not going to be able to fill in that date 2 weeks out. So if you cancel it, that really hurts us. And so that's kind of why we have all those things in place, because like you said, the date is one of the most valuable things.
And it's a little bit different when you find people that are hobbyists and do this on the side. And I get it. I was there, and that's perfectly fine. Just understand they may not have contracts and all that stuff, and you might be doing word of mouth and a handshake. And before you know it,
they don't show up.
They don't show up.
I've had horror stories. Hey, my boy's wedding DJ didn't show up. Are you available? No, I'm DJing a wedding. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
But like, I've had that, and I've had friends reach out to me asking me, please, so we need something because our guy bailed. I'm like, well, that's insane. First off, and two, I'm so sorry I can't help you.
Right.
You know, it's just unfortunate, but it's important to go with professionals and have things in writing, and not only to cover your butt, but to make sure everybody is taken care of.
Yep. And any professional contract will in the event industry will have a cancellation policy. So I think she's right.
Yep.
All right. I think you've got one for us, right?
I do. Yes.
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go.
You are a parent.
Oh, there it is. See, there's like a delay, but here we go.
My wedding hot take for the day. If you are a parent and your child is getting married, it does not matter how much you are financially contributing. It is not your wedding. It is your child's wedding. Yes, your opinion matters, and you're entitled to an opinion as you are financially contributing. But it is not your wedding. I repeat, it is not your wedding. So please let your child choose the things that make the most sense for them and their partner.
So I like that one a lot. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like we get that a lot where you have a bride's mom sitting in on the planning meetings and giving their opinion on what they think would work or oh, well, we did this on my wedding day and all of that. And it's like, okay, well,
That was great 40 years ago.
yeah, this isn't your wedding day. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just important to go in with that mentality in mind, understanding that this is not your day. Yes, you might be paying a nice, pretty penny for it and helping them, but this is your child's day. And I think nowadays it's a little different with the culture of weddings. I feel like parents were a lot more involved and more a part of it, and more like 40 years ago it was
kind of part of the tradition,
right? Parents were like marrying their kids and making it all happen. Now the kids are just taking care of it and letting parents just tag along to the party, but a lot of them are kind of fronting the bill, and I could see that all day where I paid for it, so we're going to do some things that I want to do, right? But
well, they think that's the mentality of money equals ownership, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, there
because
you go.
I'm paying for it, I own it. Like, this is mine.
Yeah.
And that can get, it can pose for some challenges, especially when it comes to the different things that are going to happen throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
It could be music.
Yeah.
We see this from time to time where parents are talking about, well, I really want this, I really want that, and you can just see the look on their on their kid's face, like
La Marcha.
Right.
Oh, our family always does La Marcha at every wedding. Yeah, it's exactly why I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're saying, and they're like, no, you have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's your parents just telling you have to do it. And so I think, just kind of not tread lightly, but be respectful that this isn't your day, and just ask them what they want to achieve. That's what we do in our planning meetings.
I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, do you want the people there, including your son and daughter, to be happy on this is the biggest day of their life?
Yep.
All right. Well, these are the ways that they are going to be happy.
This is what they want to do.
This is what we're going to do to accomplish that.
Exactly.
Doing a 45-minute dollar dance is not on their priority list. Like, so that should not be make or break for you just because you're paying for it, right?
They get mad or whatever. One thing I thought that was like kind of respectful, they wanted to be recognized. That was it. All they wanted was a thank you and a shout out for the parents for helping provide this, helping make this happen, right? They didn't want to say we paid for it, but they wanted to say, hey, can you be sure to thank our parents because they have contributed a lot, and we want to make sure that they get recognized. So I thought that was a cool way to like do it, but like,
sure,
it's not your day. You don't need to be,
planning everything. And this is
I think it comes from a good place. They want to help, and they've seen things that have worked out for their wedding day, and they don't understand things change with time, right? It's not the same wedding that it was 40 years ago.
Well, it just depends on the types you're working with, right?
Yeah,
like A-types and micromanagers, and that's just their nature, and
true.
And it's kind of hard. It makes things a little bit tough sometimes with the planning, but I think professionals can navigate through it, and you just have to understand those types and to make them kind of see the light, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're trying to do and what we're looking for. You know what? If we do it this way, it might be better. An example was last night. We were actually having a planning meeting with a couple, and they were talking about La Marcha and Dollar Dance, and they were recommended to do the Dollar Dance first, and
second. I got you.
They were La Marcha, then the Dollar Dance.
Yeah.
And we just worked through
That's
it.
very New Mexican tradition to do.
Very traditional to do that, but they don't understand what it's actually doing to your dance floor. And they've told us, we want this amazing party, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, actually, you should do it the reverse way then. Let's talk about what it actually does, to the dance floor.
What it looks like. Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
And they just need that little. They have an idea of what they want, and then you just can reshape their expectations and give them exactly what they want, but in a way that would work well.
Exactly. Okay, we got one more TikTok here. Let's check it out. This one's a little bit longer, but we're gonna work through it.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So this is Victoria Veneciano.
Nice.
Looks like maybe she's a wedding. Oh, I think I remember this. She's a photographer, I believe. So
nice.
Let's check it out.
So as a wedding photographer, I get this question actually more often than you would think from brides who are just starting out with wedding planning and are kind of torn on like where they should prioritize their vendors or like where they should allocate their budget to and like who should be at the top of the list and stuff like that. So I'm getting married in 2024 and I was going to share you guys my priority list and where we want to, allocate our budget to the most and the least when it comes to our day. So obviously being a photographer, my number one priority was also photography and our photographer. Fun fact, I actually booked and put a deposit down on our wedding photographer, I think 8 months before we actually got engaged. I just said, take my money for a deposit, and when we pick a date, I'll let you know, and hopefully you're free, and we'll kind of run everything by you before we pick a date and a venue. So this was something I didn't even hesitate about when getting a quote. I was like, I know who I want, this is who I want. Pictures are gonna be the only thing we have left from the day. This is what's happening. I literally didn't talk to any people about when booking him. I just booked him, and I'm really happy, and I cannot wait to work with him. Our second top priority was venue. A lot of venues in Connecticut are kind of all-inclusive with food and drink. So we found the most beautiful venue that, we love the most, who had great food reviews and, open bar and everything like that. 3 is entertainment. Again, entertainment I think is so important. So we got a DJ, and we wanted to make sure our DJ was really, really, really good and had great reviews. So they're coming in from New Jersey, and they're going to be incredible, and I'm really excited for them. Now,
all right, I'm going to stop it there because there's still about another minute of this left, and I'll go down her list. So her top wedding vendor priority list was photographer, the venue, entertainment. Those are the top 3. And then it's outfits, hair and makeup, candles, and floral decor was number 5. Number 6 was video. Number 7 was welcome signage. And then number 8 was stationery, which included invites, menus, and save the dates. So I
love it. That's my big 3.
Yeah, I like this one, right? Because I think it's good for us. She's a 2024 bride. It's good for us to stay in the know. Like, what are these brides prioritizing, right? And obviously, she was a little bit biased with the photography, so I would expect that too. But I still think for most people, that's definitely in their top 3.
That's my big 3. Always. People will often book. I saw they'll book the photographer is the first booked vendor. It's a high percentage that they're often the first vendor picked. And then after that, it is venue, and then it just kind of goes off from there. But I always say it. I always say it. You need somewhere to party, you need someone to throw the party, and you need someone to take pictures of the party. And then everything else is secondary, because you can really you're not going to remember all that stuff. Nobody gives a crap about what your stationery looked like, and that's why you can see it's very on the bottom end of her prioritized list. But when you look at a photo, I'm surprised video was so low, because sounds like memories are really important to her, and so I guess she's a photographer, so I get it. But video is pretty big in terms of being able to remember it, so that's interesting. But
you know what, but the video is interesting. And actually, we're gonna have a guest here, Brad from Southwest Films, is coming on the show here pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm interested to hear his take when it comes to video and how people are prioritizing it, and then just even how it's evolved over time. So back in my day, you used to have someone with this big old huge VHS camcorder on their shoulder, and you would end up with a video that was 5 hours long. Who
this guy
in the history of time has ever gone back and watched a whole 5 hours?
That's interesting. So they would just hit record, and they were pretty much, you got the guest perspective.
Totally.
From the whole thing.
And they would walk around and ask people to say something, a little something to the bride and groom, right?
I've seen it.
But literally, it was like, you'd have hours of footage.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that's not really what's happened over the years, right? Like I look at the films that Brad produces, and it's really, really high quality, well done documentary style.
Yeah. Love stories, really.
And that's what they're telling, like a story. It's like they're movies, right?
Really? Yeah, they are.
And they're condensed into, I would say most of them are less than probably 20 minutes, if even that.
I was thinking 12 to 15.
And then it's cool. They'll do trailers, right? Mm-hmm. And things they're really well done. So yeah, I mean, I think the videos, when done right like that, can really tell the story of a whole day and keep you captivated for those 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure they have longer form stuff too as well, but not 5 hours of following.
Well, venues, video's awesome, but I was thinking venues, they tend to book out very ahead in advance as well. And so that's a good thing to think about when you're prioritizing those events, because you could love this venue, but if they're trying to book them out maybe 8 to 10 months in advance, they're probably booked. You know what I mean? For
Right.
stuff like
Especially venues that don't have multiple spaces, you know?
that. Yeah, Los
I mean,
Poblanos.
yeah,
right?
Los Poblanos. Casa's only got like 2 areas, but you're probably only running 1 wedding a day at the.
Dude,
a lot
La
of those.
Fonda, they do over like 300 to 400 a year.
Wow.
He tells me, he's like, yeah, we get this. It's corporate weddings,
Right.
birthday parties, grad parties, a bunch of different things. But they are going crazy with those types of events. So people, need venues, obviously.
Yep. All right, cool. Well,
Oh yeah,
time to go back. Great Scott!
run for it, Marty!
I like those ones, like the mashups and the blends like that kind of walk in and out of, instead of
Different
just
tracks.
instead of just laying one track over another beat, like lyrics over the beat,
Yeah.
like that'll actually go in and out.
Well, Nate Nelson did something sick with what is it? Party in the USA.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the Jay-Z song was on,
Oh,
and then
right.
Jay-Z goes, "And the what?" You know what I mean? And it's sick. It's so cool because you got Jay-Z saying like hyping up Miley Cyrus,
Right.
and so it's a sick ass wordplay.
Yeah.
So
Heck
stuff like
yeah.
that's always fun.
Yeah, that stuff's good. All right, so awesome, perfect. So next time you are at a party and you need to go to a crowd saver, there's a few of them that we like
Yup.
to use.
This is
So-
how we do it. That was a good one to get it going. I like.
Yeah, that one I kind of topped out at that. I mean, that's why it's my number one, and usually I save that for later on in the night. It's not something I'm ever going to start a night off with.
Heck no.
I kind of like those moments that are looking for just surprise,
Yeah.
bring them back.
Well, we say peaks and
whatever.
valleys, right? So
Right.
you got them down, you hit it, you go right back up, and you're
That's
like,
one I
"Hey,
just I
let's
know
go."
it's an immediate just energy. The energy will be infused onto the
Yeah.
dance floor at that point in time.
Mhm.
And I usually go into a set, like a hip hop set at that point with that.
Right, because you're in that nice little 98 BPM.
I'm in that pocket,
Yep.
right? Yeah, where
There's
I can
all
go
kinds
anywhere.
of hip-hop in that
Totally.
In that
I
pocket.
can play Yeah, I can play the DMX I can go into. I could go into players like
Yeah.
any of that stuff there. There's so many hot in
Right,
here,
50
so many
Cent.
directions. Yeah, and that's what I like about it. It can allow me to go any
Nice.
direction in
Yeah,
in that pocket there, so it's good stuff.
Heck
Cool.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to put a bow on this week.
Mm-hmm. Good episode.
It's a good episode. Hope you guys got a few takeaways, and hopefully some of you now will go out there and buy yourself a first aid kit so your finger doesn't fall off during the event.
Get your first aid kits, guys.
That's right. And that's going to do it for this week. We appreciate you all.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll do it again next week.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.
Thanks for checking out the Cutmaster Cast podcast. Make sure you stay tuned with all things related at www.cutmastermusic.com.